I was taking a trip out to L.A., tootling along in my Chevrolet, toking on a number and begging on the radio. Just as I crossed the Mississippi line, I heard that highway starting to whine, and I knew that left rear tire was about to go. Well, the spare was flat and I got uptight, 'cause there wasn't a filling station inside. I lipped on down the shoulder on the rim. I went as far as I could, and when I stopped the car, I was right in front of this little bar, kind of a redneck looking joint called the Dewdrop Inn. Well, I stuffed my hair up under my hat and I told the bartender I had a flat. Would he be kind enough to give me change for one? There was one thing I was sure proud to see. There wasn't a soul in the place except for him and me, and he looked disgusted and pointed toward the telephone. I called up the station down the road a ways. He said I wasn't very busy today and he could have someone there in about 10 minutes or so. I just ordered up a beer and sat down at the bar, and some guy walked in and said, "Who owns this car with the peace sign, the mag wheels, and 4 on the floor?" Well, he looked at me and I damn near died. I decided I'd just wait outside. I laid $1 on the bar and headed toward the door. Just when I thought I'd get out of there with my skin, these 5 big dudes come strolling in with this one old drunk chick and some fella with green teeth. And I was almost to the door when the biggest one said, "You tip your hat to this lady, son." And when I did, all that hair fell out from underneath. Now the last thing I wanted was to get in a fight in Jackson, Mississippi on a Saturday night, especially when there was 3 of them and only 1 of me. Well, they all started laughing and I felt kind of sick, and I knew I'd better think of something pretty quick. I reached out and kicked old green teeth right in the knee. He let out a yell that'll curl your hair, and before he could move, I grabbed me a chair and said, "Watch him, folks, he's a thoroughly dangerous man." Well, you may not know it, but this man's a spy. He's an undercover agent for the FBI, and he's been sent down here to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan. He was still bent over, holding on to his knee, but everyone else was looking and listening to me. I laid it on thicker and heavier as I went. I said, "Would you believe this man has gone as far as tearing Wallace stickers off the bumpers of cars, and he voted for George McGovern for president?" Well, he's a friend of them long-haired, hippie-type pink old fags, and I bet you he's even got a commie flag tacked up on the wall inside of his garage. He's a snake in the grass, I tell you guys. He may look dumb, but that's just a disguise. He's a mastermind in the ways of espionage. They all started looking real suspicious at him, and he jumped up and said, "Now wait a minute, Jim, you know he's lying. I've been living here all my life. I'm a faithful follower of Brother John Birch, and I belong to the Antioch Baptist Church. I ain't even got a garage. Call home and ask my wife." Then he started saying something about the way I was dressed, but I didn't wait around to hear the rest. I started moving and hoping I didn't run out of luck. When I hit the ground, I was making tracks, and they were just taking my car down off the jacks. I threw the man a 20 and jumped in and fired that mother up. Mario Andretti would sure been proud the way I was moving when I passed the crowd coming out the door and headed toward the truck. I guess I should have gone ahead and run, but somehow I couldn't resist the fun of chasing them all just once around the parking lot. Well, they were heading for the car, but I hit the gas and it spun around, heading them off at the pass, and I was slinging gravel, putting a ton of dust in the air. Well, I had them out there stepping and fetching like their heads were on fire and their asses catching, but I figured out I ought to go ahead before the cops got there. When I hit the road, I was really wheeling. I had gravel flying and rubber squealing. I didn't slow down till I was almost to Arkansas. I think I'm going to head and reroute my trip. I wonder if anybody think I'd flip if I went to L.A. via Omaha.